Hi friends, once again welcome back to this tutorial series. In part 1 we created the floor and wall object for the scene. In this part also we will continue our modeling. Let's start creating the column. For molding the shape of this object I using a blueprint. Here you can see the shape of our column object. Open 3ds Max. In left view draw a plane. Apply the blueprint dimension in its length and width. Open the material editor and apply the blueprint in diffuse as a bitmap. Make a box and change its dimensions to 1000 each. Reposition it to the bottom of the blueprint. From here we start making our shape. Convert this box to an editable poly and drag all these vertices to here. This time I deleting these two polygons. Select this border and extrude it. Then reposition the vertices to here and extrude it again. Using this move tool and uniform scale tool, we need to trace the entire shape of our column as shown in the blueprint behind. Apply a default material on it and change the object color to black. For applying a smoothing group, we need to make some connections on this object. So, select one edge from here and ring it. Then make one connection. With the vertices selected, drag this segment here. Same thing here also. Pick this edge and ring it. This time change the segment to 2 and pinch value to 88. Like this, connect the each and every sharp edges on this object. It is very necessary to achieve the exact curves on this column object which is shown in the blueprint. For that we need to make more connections on these areas. Select each edges over the curve and loop it, then apply a chamfer. After applying the smoothing group we will get exact result. Finally, we need to make connections on these 4 corners. Select one edge from here, loop it and ring it. Then click on chamfer. Leave the segment as 2 and change the edge chamfer amount to 10. Put a cap on this top and insert the polygon 2 times. Then apply a smoothing group on this object. Some more adjustment required on this shape. Come to the front view. With the vertex selection tool, select all these vertices and drag it up. Next, add an Unwarp Uvw modifier on it. First we need to disconnect the top. So, select one edge from here, loop it and made the selection to seams. Next we need to disconnect the 4 sides. For that, pick one middle edge from this corner and loop it. Convert the selection to seams. Same way, we need to disconnect the remaining 3 faces. Select the top polygon, expand the selection and pelt it. This time also relax it by face and angles. Come to the side faces, pick one polygon and expand the selection. Pelt it, again relax it by face and angles. Apply the same pelting procedure for remaining 3 side faces of our column object. Come to the UV editor, select all these sides. With the rotate tool make it straight and arrange the map properly. Scale down all these faces to fit in the box and hit on render UV templates by adding the dimension of 2048 in width and height. Let's start texturing the column. Here we have the same concrete and mosses texture. In addition to this we have a wall texture here for making the designs on the column. You can also download the textures from the link given in the description below. Open the UV template in Adobe Photoshop. Drag this concrete texture over here and place the UV layer on top and change its blending modes to screen and lock it. Place the concrete texture here and make 2 more copies of this, then arrange it properly to cover the entire UV map. Next, drag the mosses texture over here and scale it down. Mask it using the same masking image which we used earlier. Crop the unwanted areas and apply the mask. Make 3 copies of this layer for adding hardness to the mosses and merge these 3 layers together and this concrete textures also. Next we need to add a simple design on this column object. Have a look on the final render. You can see here the design over the column. Let's do that. Open our blueprint. This is the design which we want to apply on the column. Drag our design texture on the blueprint and scale it up and reduce its opacity. Now you can see both texture and blueprint. Using the marquee selection tool, crop the 4 sides of the texture and using the pen tool, start drawing the shape. Make a selection here and delete. Repeat the same procedure for remaining 3 corners. And here inside also, draw the shape, make a selection and delete. And increase the opacity of this layer. This is the shape which we needed. drag this shape over our texture and make this layer under the Moses texture. Reduce its size to fit on the object. Then make copies of this layer and place it over the four sides of the column. One more design we needed at the bottom of the column. Have a look on the final render. You can see the design here. Let's do that. Come to our blueprint. Make the shape quickly. Drag it over the texture and position it properly. Place the wall texture over the shape and make a clipping mask. Merge these two layers. Then make one more copy of this and place it on the opposite side of the column. We wanna do few more adjustment on this texture. Make a new layer, select the brush tool and choose a soft brush and change its opacity to 25% and start to paint some shadows on the edges of the column and decrease its layer opacity to 60%. Then save this texture as PSD. Next, convert this texture as a bump map, hide the Moses texture and move all our design layers to a new group. Then apply a black color clipping mask on it. Add a level adjustment layer on the top of the concrete texture and increase its black and white value and save this bump map as PSD file. Now have a look how this texture will appear on the object. Put this texture as a bitmap in a new material and apply it on the object. Finally, export this object as OBJ for Blender. Let's start creating the wood. Open 3ds Max. Create a rectangle box in a front view, then convert this to an editable poly. Increase the length of this object by dragging these vertices and also decrease its thickness a little bit. Now we want to do some connections on this object for applying a smoothing group. So select the polygon from this right hand side and insert it. Repeat the same thing for this left hand side also. Come to the front view. With the edge selection tool, select these two edges and connect. Then reposition these segments towards the left and right ends of the object. Next, do the horizontal connections. Jump to top view, select this edge, ring it and connect it with two segments and increase the pinch value and reposition these segments. Again back to the front view, pick one edge from here and ring it, connect it with the two segments and increase the pinch value. Okay, we made all the connections. Select the entire element and apply a smoothing group on it. Put a default material on this object and change its object color to black. Next we want to unwarp this object for texturing. Put a unwarp Uvw modifier on it. First we need to disconnect the two end polygons. So select one edge from here, loop it and make the selection to seams. Same way disconnect this left end also. Then pick one edge from here and convert this selection also to seams. Select the polygon from this left end, expand the selection and pelt it. Relax it by face and angles and reposition this UV to here. Repeat the same pelting technique for the right end also. Come to the faces. Select the polygon from here and expand the selection. Relax it also by face and angles. Okay, we unwarped all the disconnected faces. Now arrange these faces properly to fit in the box. Yeah, this will be our UV template for this wood object. Render the UV template with the dimension of 2048 in width and height. And save this UV template as JPEG. Let's start texturing the wood. Here we are using the wood texture and the Moses texture. You can download these textures from the link given in the description below. Open the UV template in Adobe Photoshop, unlock the layer, drag the wood texture over the UV template and scale it up. Make a copy of this and place it over here. Place the UV template on top of these layers and change its blending mode to screen, then lock the layer. Next add the Moses. Open the Moses texture, drag it over here and scale it down and apply the same masking image which we used earlier. Then delete the unwanted areas. Apply the mask. Make one more copy of this Moses layer for adding hardness to it and save this texture as PSD. Also make a bump map from this texture. For that, hide the both Moses texture and merge these two wood texture together. Change this texture to black and white and in level controls increase its black and white value. The result will be look like this and save this also as PSD. Now have a look how this texture appear on the object. Come to 3ds Max. Open the material editor, choose one material and put this texture as bitmap in the diffuse and apply it on the object. Finally, export this object as OBJ for Blender. I am ending this part here. We completed the modeling and texturing of all the elements which we required for this scene. In the next part, we will start set up our scene in Blender. Friends, you are watching tutorials from the Tute YouTube channel. For more tutorials, don't forget to subscribe this channel and also enable the bell icon for getting latest updates. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.